shut up and be tortured by me and my big fat face. Thank you.
Thanks, nice to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks. It's very, 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 very great to be back with you again. So at least my 20-something visit to Australia. 23rd or 25th. I lost count. So I'm a good fraction Australian by now. If they kick me out of America, which could happen if I do it right, if I bug Bush, that pussy motherfucker, enough, I will get kicked out. If they allow me to leave with like 4 or 5 boxes of my books, not the ones I wrote, but other ones. There's a lot of good ones out there, and at least a handful of an armload of my records, and they said, pick a country! You must leave America. I'd come here, because I could do it in Australia. I could survive just fine. But anyway, it's good to be amongst you. It's good to be back in the conversation pit. Great sniper sight lines for anyone who wants to give it to me. There was an election in my country several months ago. I just wanted you to know that not everyone voted for this motherfucker. About 49% of America went, no, not again! And I was one of those people. And on voting day, I went to a little church down the street from where my office is at like 5:45 in the morning to get there super early so I could not have to stand in a long line to go vote. And I cast my vote for John Kerry, the Democrat, never once thinking, having watched him speak for well over a year, that he was any kind of fantastic visionary. You know, here's a man who looks like Frankenstein. You know, with all the charisma, you know, of a dead fly at the bottom of your windowsill. And I think it's this great soundtrack for going to sleep. Yes, his voice that kind of makes you like, and like, I will do this, and when I become president. And meanwhile, George W. Bush, he ran a tremendous campaign. You know, he never backed off. He never apologized. He said 5 things over and over again. He said the same 10 words over and over again. And he never got them right. So, I'm standing in line to vote. I finally get in there, and they have this thing called the ink dot system, where you dot, so there can be no chat, no ambiguity. And I just wanted to make, I was so careful, Kerry, not B-U-S-H. I am putting this little pen in this hole. It's the right one, okay. And then I voted for all the local Californian legislature, and I went back to page 1 and made sure that I dotted it in for Kerry, and I took the little pen and dotted it like another 10 times. I dropped a liter of ink on that thing. And then I walked up to the nice lady who's sitting at the table with the folding legs, and I said, where do I put this ballot? She goes, into that blue can. It's like a waste bin, you know, and says, put your ballot here. And I go, okay, I put this in there, and I voted. She goes, that's right. I go, I am putting this parcel into this slot, right? She goes, yes. I'm doing it now. Please warn me if there's some other place I should be putting this. And she goes, just put it in there. And I dropped it in. And I go, is everyone been like this? She goes, every one of you. And so I went back to, I was in the middle of a movie, so I drove out to where the set was, and the director let us come in a little late that day so we could all get to clean the boat. And me and all these other actors and actresses, we all voted, and by the end of the day, it's like hour 13, we're still on the set, as you know, these movies, some of the days go long. And so we're working, and the votes are coming in, and between takes, crew guys are on their cell phones calling wives, girlfriends, family members to get the results as state after state is like dying in favor of homophobia, war, and the Christian Taliban. And so we're getting this just appalling, horrible news. It's like, you know, each state became the obituary. You know, like, oh, Colorado, you know, all the South. And so it happened. This motherfucker, this guy who departed the SEC, this guy who got a 1972 cocaine felony busted sponge from the police records, this guy who dodged the draft, this guy who just rich boyed his way through college, this guy who every straight job he ever had, he lost the parent company millions of dollars. He is the president of the United States. I can't tell you how hard I wince whenever he speaks, knowing that it is bounced from every possible satellite all over the world. America, my America, the home place of the Ramones and P-Funk and John Coltrane and Jimi Hendrix and Al Pacino and all kinds of great shit. We are so thoroughly, poorly represented at this point. We're not all in the Klan. I just want you to know that. And we're not all psycho Christian raving fucking homophobes, okay? And I know you know that. I just want to say that. And I think sometimes you all are somewhat poorly represented too, because John Howard went right after that Iraq thing. And so I have noticed, and I know that all of you are switched on. You care about your country. You care about a war in Iraq, a preemptive strike against a country that never struck any other country. Well, the people in Kuwait didn't have such a fun time. But I'm saying, here's a country, Iraq, not really a threat to America, but we went in there. And now the other day that Kim Jong-il fired a missile over the Sea of Japan, everyone's going, oh shit, because he is crazy enough to do some crazy shit. Look at the haircut. He's out of his fucking mind. And I've just been thinking about, I go, golly, if only North Korea didn't have weapons of mass destruction, an army and an attitude that hits back, we could invade them and spread freedom there too. But you have to go after the country that doesn't have WMDs, that's not coming after you, that you think you can get a hold of some of their oil. And that's why America went in on this. And I would have loved it if Australia went, you pussies, we're not going in. Like Germany did. Germany went, 9. And the French went, no. And there was this momentary campaign at the Fox News channel, that crazy, psychotic, wacky channel in America, and the byline is fair and balanced. It is not fair, nor is it balanced. It is a right-wing smear campaign to take any intellectual or anyone who reads or uses complex sentences and humiliate them as their source over and over again until they are silenced. So I have noticed that when France and Germany didn't go in on the Iraq invasion, that they sought to demonize the French and Germans. Now, they went after Germany first. The Germans, what a bunch of pussies. Unfortunately for Fox News, no one bought that because no one in the world thinks the Germans are pussies. They may be a lot of things, but pussies they ain't. I mean, proof in the proof? Ramstein, look at him. The dude comes out, fucking lights up like a big butane. Hello. The first 5 rows, their eyebrows are singed off. Whether you like the band or not, pussy, no. So of course they go after the French, who are easy target, way underfed, black gummed, gray teeth, and so they sought to eradicate the word French from the American speak. And that's when we saw that horrible mulleted man whose fingers smelled of his daughter with prison tattoos. I'm just saying, folks, I'm just telling you how it was. It's a rough room, America. Tough. Anyway, you remember that man holding the French fry, or the chip, as sometimes as they're called, the French fried potato, skewered with the toothpick, with the Super-American flag. There's a freedom for that, because we don't say that word French no more. Okay? And we have freedom toast, and freedom fries, and freedom kisses, and you can rent my daughter for $1.50 all night. Bill O'Reilly, one of the critics on Fox News, you can write in and for free get a bumper sticker for your car that says, boycott the French. And it really insults me because I have had nothing but a wonderful time all the times I've been to France, like all 4 times I've been to France. And French literature, people like Rochemont and Baudelaire and Camus, and all these people, they're heroes to me. I read Alfred Jarry and Andre Breton year after year after year, and people like Rimbaud, they're gods to me. And so when you go after the French, I'm like, I fucking hate you. And so, at least in America, I have noticed that no one goes after the Bush campaign with the fury and the venom and the conviction that is necessary to show these bully, fascist, hardcore conservative, psycho motherfuckers that there is a resistance. And so you can look on the news and the president that takes the English language goes, and no one goes, God damn it, man, can you put a fucking sentence together? He's going, he's a man of action. You hear how he speaks in short, declarative sentences, kind of like Hemingway. You're like, no! He sprains his face when the words come out. And so I watch the American media like lay down and just kind of go, okay, just do whatever you want. They're like the schoolgirl getting date raped in the backyard of the school. Like, okay, I kind of like it. Is this the way it is? And I think people should be lighting some shit on fire and going, fuck you, man. We're not going for this. And so I don't see anyone doing it in the hardcore aggro fashion that I think it should be done. So I've taken it upon myself. So I'm like the one guy going, to you too, motherfucker. There's a line drawn in the sand. You're a vampire. I'm the vampire killer. Let's get it on. And so it's been great. A few days after he was elected, I wrote him a letter. I said, "Dear Mr. President," I thought I would catch him on a, medicated moment, of indecision. I was like, "Dear Mr. President, quit. You're not good. You're not. You're horrible. You don't like taking meetings that last longer than half an hour. You don't read big, thick books. You don't watch the news. You don't read the newspapers. You don't care about getting somebody's country right. You don't pronounce any foreigner's name if it has more than 3 or 20 syllables. You are not putting any effort into this. You're not even connected to the issues. You don't even like to talk to the American people." He does no press conferences at all. They have to pry him out of his room. "Would you please talk to the American people?" And he has that look of the petulant child when he speaks. And whatever you say, how come the president does less press conferences than any American president ever? Some neoconservatives, you know why? Intellectual, you book reader, you fag-loving, Taliban sympathizing piece of shit. You know why the president doesn't read big books, watch news, read newspapers, take meetings over half an hour, or speak in sentences that are understandable? Because he's a revolution. Real men of action speak in 3 or 4 block words at a time, and then they lock and load and get it on. And so the other day I was in New York doing a theater run, and the President of the United States and President Vicente Fox, the President of Mexico, and the Prime Minister of Canada, Paul Martin, were all gathered together to talk about the alliance of North America and how we must protect our borders for peace and prosperity and security and good trade and on and on and on. So of course the President, being the biggest dude of the 3 leaders, they put the camera and the mic on him, and he staggers through at least 85 to 150 words, and I'm watching this just cringing. It's so hard for me to listen to him, yet I am obsessed by this guy. I am fascinated by his body language. I am fascinated by the way he puts words together. And now that he's at his second term, I don't know if you watch the president like I do. He fascinates me. He does his things. He's on the podium, and he looks around, and he moves with his conspiratorial. I'm gonna let you all the non-whites are the TV song. And now he's gonna kick you the real knowledge. Like, you motherfucker, you get your information from brochures. Shut the fuck up. And so, he said this thing several months ago, right around Christmas time, when there was a suicide bomber attack in Mosul. And no doubt you remember seeing this on the news. Maybe it's on the news here. Really weird how the news stations have in this country. Now, I talk about this every time I'm in Australia because I always forget until I'm back here again. Jet lag and drooling onto my leg watching the Sky News Channel. And that weird 15-minute news loop that keeps going around and around and around like there's no news in the world. There's like, okay, Kylie, very sorry about that. Australian man in Iraq, we hope he gets out. Chappelle Corby, we hope that she comes home. And then on to the real deal, the footy, the sports. And you have like the prime and the hotel's got 9 stations, the rest is pay-per-view. And the channel 1 is all the movies you can watch. So if you mistakenly turn the TV on without going to 2, you watch Keanu Reeves kind of just, I'm saying words. And, 3 is the Discovery Channel, just a bunch of shows about cars, and then the rest of the channels are just men in really intense shorts. Just grooving. And like men with massive quads, big fucking guys with necks, like bovine creatures, all this like, all putting their arms around each other, like, just cupping nutsacks and I'm not putting it down. Like, I could never survive in a sport like that. Boy, when you see 2 boxers and in the 4th round, they're all Hairballz hugging each other, 2 sweaty men. Like, I'd be such a shitty boxer. Like, no, come on. Don't just touch me with a glove, but not you. Don't hug me. I thought you fucking hated me. Sorry. Mosul. There was a bombing attack in Mosul. A suicide bomber went into a mess hall and self-detonated. A bunch of people died. And they asked the president, George W. Bush, they said, can you say a few things about the bombing attack in Mosul? And he stops for like 8 seconds. He kind of stands there and you realize some aide has gone over and like wiggled the mouse and tapped the space bar to kind of awaken the CPU. Loading English 001 back into the random access memory. And then he goes into that thing that he does where he speaks 3 words at a time, then 3 more get loaded in. And he tries to be poignant. Any time of year, the time of sorrow and sadness, when we lose the loss of life. Think about it. He said this. This is not a paracode. This is what he said. Any time of year, the time of sorrow and sadness, when we lose a loss of life. You're like, that's not even being dumb. That's not even I got hit upside the head with a shovel. That's just... What was it? Was it swinging from the hairy teeth of Barbara Bush all those years that did it? What is it? And you recoil from the screen like, jeez, he's amazing. But of course he can't stop there. He kept on saying, kept on speaking, he said, there's no doubt about it. The car bombers are having an effect. Car bombers that destroy young children and car bombs that bomb indiscriminately in religious sites are effective propaganda tools. Car bombs that bomb. There's a reality show when car bombs go bad. When people car bomb bad. When car bombs bomb bad. Like, wow, he had 2 shots at getting it right, and he flubbed them in this amazing manner where they'll be teaching Bush English in college. Like, Here's how you take the English language and mangle it in a fascinating way. And so this sounds like the beginning of a surrealist nightclub. A car bomb walks into a bar with a bomb under his arm and says, a kamikaze for me and whatever my little friend wants. So, all I'm saying is, I'm basically taking out a PSA for America. I'm just saying, like, when you listen to the president, it's a comedy show with lethal consequences, and know that not all of us voted for him, and I won't say anything about him for at least 4 or 5 more hours. And here's something else. You get from what I say and how I say it, I'm an angry man. Yes, I'm angry. I'm 44 years of age. Why am I more and more pissed off as the years go on? Because now is the time for me to be breathing and to be spreading out and slowing down and have a remote in my hand, never leaving the couch. That's a great show. That's a great show. That's a great show. That's a great show. Oh wow, the best of Sting. I love this record. Man, I've lost my will to fight. And the older I get, is how I am. But I'm not mad at you. And I don't hit kids. I don't kick dogs. And I don't shove pensioners around. I'm mad at mediocrity and complacency and people who are too cowardly to get up and say, fuck that. And I hate it in myself, and I hate it in young people. I hate complacency and mediocrity in young folks because they're the ones who's supposed to be, whooping your ass. And I'm no longer young. I'm not 84. I'm not 24 anymore. And I believe me, you get my age, you know the difference. Some of you folks, some of you men are over 40 or you're near 40. Have you noticed, like it can't be just me, have you noticed that when you jack off, we know you do, yes, but right before you ejaculate, have you noticed you start to sob uncontrollably, and these huge tears start falling from your face, and when you ejaculate, you pass out, and you don't remember anything, and you wake up on the ground with your handful of, now cold evidence, and a knot on your head from taking a header like on your computer keyboard as you go down. And so there's a lot of irony one deals with when you get to be over 40. You just have to make friends with your face. Look at the lines in that motherfucker. Gee, it's gray. Good God, I look like my dad. You hold up your passport and you think, this'll never get me over a border. I look nothing like that guy. Like, when was this photo taken? It was probably taken in 1963. 1999. You look at your face is going, your face is like the Dow. So you better learn to, be, and get along with it. Get along with your face and the fact that if you look at a chick, she's probably half your age, which puts you in Rhett's category. Hey, that girl's pretty cool. She's 30. Like a young little girl is 30. Oh my God, what am I thinking? You pervert, you. I need to be dating ancient hairy old women. Women in walkers who have that senility smell from 3 feet away. Who pick their teeth out and go, here, story about complacency that just it's all true and it makes me so mad. Several months ago, I was in Washington, D.C., the town I come from, in the winter. And it was extremely cold for Washington. Washington doesn't always get that cold because it's so far south that sometimes the winds from the Carolinas will come up and it'll be 4 inches of snow one day, and then the next day it's like 50 degrees and you can walk around in a sweatshirt, and the next day snow falls. It's really weird. But on this night it was very, very cold. And I did a show at a place called the Listener Auditorium, and I came out and I walked towards the tour bus I was living in this store, and there's a small group of young people standing in the parking lot at the back of the bus who want to meet me and, do a photo or have me sign something. And I walked over to them to say hello, and I want to sign their stuff and do whatever they want me to do so they will get into a warm vehicle and go home. Otherwise, they're going to freeze solid. I do not want anyone going through hypothermia to meet me. And so I walk up and I'm like, my pen is frozen. So don't worry, I have one that I've been holding to my bosom for the last 20 minutes. It's body temperature. And I'm signing this stuff, and I'm shaking the hands, and they're hitching up their sled dogs, and they're going into the night. And about 3 people left. I look over to the side, and there's a young man kind of standing, looking at me, and he's looking, waiting for everyone to leave so he can have his moment. And so everyone leaves, and he makes his move towards me. As he's walking towards me, a car that was parked next to the bus starts to back out. And the driver, I don't know if the driver sees the guy or not, and I don't know if the guy sees the car, but basically the car's going to back into his hip as he walks towards me. And I instinctively go, whoa! I just put my hand out, and the car stops. And the young man looks up to see a car coming at him. He goes like, whoa! And he has a shoulder bag. And some of the contents of the shoulder bag spill out and hit the parking lot floor. And I look down, and there are these long amber vials of pharmaceuticals. And all of you have been to the chemist, the pharmacist, when you get like the bee sting or whatever, and you get like the 1-week prescription for something, and it comes in a small amber vial with a white cap with the instructions. Take 5 the first day, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. And then if the sore is still dripping and is chafing against your undergarments, we'll start the cycle again. Don't kiss dogs anymore. And so you have the little vial, but when you see the big vial, you realize this person has big problems. Like they were in Vietnam and they accidentally killed 30 kids, and they came home and they live in a hole in their backyard, and they eat their hair every morning, and they can no longer sleep with their wives, so they wake up in the morning trying to strangle their wife, going, fucking Eli! And for these people, they give them massive antipsychotic drugs, these like small football-sized chunks of medication in this, you're going to be on these for the rest of your life size amber bongos, which you just put like handfuls of these drugs in, and like 2 or 3 of those hit the ground. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's the matter with this guy, but he's got some problems, or he's doing me vomit. Who knows? And being the kind of naive samurai Boy Scout that I am, I run over and I go like, hey man, I'll pick up your drugs. And I scoop up all his stuff and I give him back his drugs. And he kind of opens a shoulder bag and I put them in, and he walks over to me. We're standing there, so I said, so, what do you have? What's all that that stuff there, and he said, I go, you really like the show tonight? He went, yeah. And I said, what's the matter with your mouth? You can't seem to get your engine started. Are you high on your own stash, trying to lighten the atmosphere? And he explained to me in his halting speak that he has spina bifida. And spina bifida, which I had heard of spina bifida, but I did not know much about spina bifida. Later, after meeting him, I went on the internet and I learned about spina bifida, which is a neurotubal disorder where the young person comes out of the chute with a bit of the spine sometimes exposed or covered by a thin membrane, and some of the manifestations of spina bifida is, one is hydrocephalus, which is a buildup of cerebrospinal fluid on the brain that needs to be shunted off by a tube that I guess goes into the intestine, I believe. Another symptom is an anaphylactic reaction to rubber or latex products, which is kind of hard to get along in this world if you are allergic to rubber and plastic. That means nursing bottles, baby nipples that are going to make your lips explode. The use of condoms. A lot of our clothing has rubber and plastic in it, plus seats have plastic. We live in a rubbery plastic world, and if you have to be the boy in the bubble and avoid all of that, your life is very tricky. And so, let's see, what else do people with spina bifida deal with? Gastrointestinal problems, neural disorders, sexual dysfunction, all kinds of problems they have because your central nervous system is waving in the breeze. And so he says he has spina bifida. And I went, oh, okay. And he kind of explains a little bit about it. And basically, the medication he's on for pain also has a muscle relaxant quality, which doesn't allow him to always have total control of his mouth. And so he can speak, it's just sometimes his mouth doesn't get any traction. So he goes in and out of being able to articulate himself. And he pulls up with his left hand, pulls up his coat and shirt to show me his stomach and chest, which is just crisscrossed with scars. I'm like, what the fuck? That's insane. And he explains to me that he's had over 150 operations since he's been born. And then I noticed that his right arm doesn't work. He just kind of swings and he does everything with his left hand. And so I said, man, that's crazy. He goes, yeah, and his body's misshapen and he's having a hard time. And then he asks me for a job. He says, could I have a job at your place? I'm like, no. I mean, I don't know. We're staffed up. I said, you don't have a job? He said, no. I said, what's up with that? He goes, well, I'm not lazy. I want to work, but there's nothing I can do. I mean, I'm kind of useless. And I've tried to get jobs, and that no one wants to insure me. No one wants to give me a shot, so I live off the government. He says, I hate living off the government. I don't want money from the government. I want to work. And I said, man, that sucks. He goes, yeah, you bet it does. And so he goes, well, I'm going to go. I said, okay. I go, where do you live? I said, I'm from D.C. And he goes, yeah. And I said, where do you live? He goes, I live out in the suburbs, out in Maryland, which is a suburb of D.C. And it's also a state. It's a city. And anyway, I said, well, it's after midnight. How are you getting home? Well, you don't drive. He goes, no. He said, I'm just going to take the train. I go, the trains don't leave till 6 in the morning. It's about midnight. What are you going to do for the next 5.5 hours? He said, I'm just going to walk around. Well, it's freezing. You're just going to walk around? Yeah. How are you going to, what are you going to do? Just walk around. I go, why don't you get in a cab, go to Union Station, the train station, buy a magazine off the rack, and pass the time inside the train station. He goes, no. I go, well, what's the matter with being warm all night? He says, I don't have the money to get in the cab and go to the train station. I said, well, then let's walk around and find one of those cash machines. You put your card in, get $40, get in the cab, and get it done. Because I don't have a bank account. I don't have a card. He says, I get so little money from the government. They're cutting back on my medical benefits to the point where I'm going to have to choose the roof over my head or the pain medication. And I said, what are you going to choose? He said, I'm going for the roof. And then he said something funny. He said, I'm going to go for the roof. So the next time I see you, I'll be in a lot of pain, but I'll be able to speak better. So we've got that to look forward to. So I said, so you don't have enough money? I said, how about you let me give you $40 and put you in the cab? And then he goes into that macho bullshit. Men are funny. He said, no, Henry, you've given me so much. Your books have been there for me when I fell down. Your talking shows are really inspirational. I could never ask anything. So it's $40. You know, here, take some money. No, Henry, I could never do that. I go, okay, how about a loan? I'll loan you $40, and one fine day you can send me 2 20s in the mail. No, Henry, I couldn't do that. I said, so what? You're gonna walk around all night and turn into a bicycle? And he went, yes. But don't worry, I'll be okay. I said, there's nothing I can do to convince you to let me lend you $40 or give you $40 or give you $100. We just put you in a cab and we just get you to your front porch. Please let me do this for you. No, I'll see you next time you come to town. And off in the smoky darkness he goes. And he would not get to give him money. And you know, here's a guy's 150 operations. Life is uphill for this guy. Won't take my money. Thanks me profusely for doing the show. I get back in my cushy, big-ass rental Bon Jovi mobile. We go up to New York City. I do a show. I do a show in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We go up back into New York State, up near the Canadian border, to upstate New York. I believe it's Buffalo or Albany or Syracuse, somewhere like that. Very beautiful. The northeast of America, especially when you're really high up near Canada, there's kind of enough of Canada that kind of radiates over the border, where there's living fish in the water. It's incredible. Massive deciduous trees you can't put your arms around. The sky is actually blue without that kind of red-gray pollution layer over it. It's an amazing place. It's like how America would have been 25 years ago. And so I was in Buffalo or Syracuse, one of these places. I get there in the afternoon, the bus pulls up in front of the theater. And 1 block down from the theater is that one strip of hipster bohemian cool that a lot of small towns have. Like the town is very boring except for 1 block, where there's the cyber cafe, the tattoo piercing place, the vintage clothes store, the all-strip store, and the cool hotspot cyber cafe place, and the next block's of crack houses and death. And so I get out of the bus and I see the brightly painted 1 block of hipster cool, and I walk towards it. Maybe there'll be a bookstore there. Maybe I can get a decent cup of coffee out of the deal. Something will happen. And all of you have been through, all kinds of towns in your life, and you've been past the Independence at the record store or the cool tattoo piercing place, and you've always seen that indie punk rocker boy sitting in front of it, either on a skateboard or just ass on the ground. And you walk by, and the guy in the sweetest, most polite voice, he says as he extends his hand, "Excuse me, can you help me out with some change?" And you lie and say, "No, I'm sorry." And he says, "It's okay. Have a great day." Thank you for not helping me out. It's so great for you to be on your own. And you walk by, and if you've ever been to New York, there's like the old grizzled 50-something-year-old psychotic men who play with their own doo-doo, and they sit there going, "Yeah!" They're the guys who in the 80s Ronald Reagan let out of a loony bin going, "You're not paranoid schizophrenic. You're just lazy. Now get out there and cheer up." And these guys have been hanging out on the streets and you're like, and you walk by them like, "Can you help me out with some money?" And you lie your ass off and go, "No." And they go, "God bless you." And you wonder, what God is this guy talking about? What God that you know of looks down and goes, "Oh, you're blowing off the psycho. I bless you, man. Nice move. Way to be a human. Awesome." And so I don't know what God's been talking about. So anyway, most of you have endured the young man or the psycho who asks you for money, which you don't give to. Well, sometimes you do. Good for you. But they always say, "Oh, thank you," and they keep going your way. I do not get the same treatment from the young man doing it. He recognizes me. Somehow, he is my demographic. And so the guy will go, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me, Mr. Rollins, Mr. Work Too Much, writer, actor, musician, spoken word artist, head up ass schedule, avoiding his midlife crisis by having a midlife crisis live on stage in front of receptive audiences all over the world. The man who has no time for friends, no time for relationships, no time for marriage, love, or offspring. The man who works all the time by saying, like, if I don't work, I am not the true Henry Rollins, the dark, enigmatic writer who slips over borders unseen and unknown. The man who will never be known by anyone. The man with no friends. The man who works ceaselessly until the day he dies. The man with his head so far up his ass, everyone has stopped calling him 3 or 4 years ago. Could you take some time out of your busy schedule to give alms to a young man who reminds you of yourself when you were younger and skinnier and more good-looking and intense and real? Now, what this little motherfucker doesn't know is I like young people unconditionally. Because if you reach 20 years of age, you should get an award. You should get a Lifetime Achievement Award. If your teen years were anywhere near as turbulent as mine, I think they were, you should be given some kind of prize. You remember 16. The girl leaves you, the boy leaves you. I can't go on, oh my God! Hormones. By the time you hit 19, that's why if you're 19, you write all that hilarious poetry. You look back at years later and go, or if you're really stupid, you publish it. And it's so, you write a means so much for such a young person. Death, my friend, you walk with me. No one knows me, no one understands me, but I cast my seed into this sink because no one would want a wretch like me. Eternity. And then you somehow hit 21, and it is a small miracle. And so I like young people because they're going through that. And so I dig them because they're still breathing. And so this little motherfucker has his hand out. What he doesn't understand is I have all afternoon. I got nothing going on. And so I'm standing and he's sitting and I preach stentorian from the mouth. Young man! Yeah? How old are you, son? I'm 19. 19! I remember when I was 19, I used to wake up in the morning every day, stiff middle finger, stiff dick, angry at the world, giddy with anticipation of what the world could give me. Son, every single book on my mother's shelves that I had not read, I was angry at them. I wanted to read them. Joe Strummer raised me, son. He said when you get aggression, you give it 2 times back. I said, Mr. Strummer, I hear you, man, and I'm gonna go you a few better. I'm gonna give it back fucking 10 times back. All right. Young man, let me ask you another question, son. Are you an amputee? Son, do you have both legs? Have you been to Afghanistan? There's more anti-tank and anti-personnel mines than in any other country anywhere in the world. Son, do you have both legs? Yeah. Very good, son. While I have you here, let me ask you something else. Do you have motor control? We go all 10 fingers right now. Very good, son. Let me ask you something else. Are you mentally challenged in any way, son? No, I don't think so. I didn't think so. You seem fairly articulate, son. Can you read? Yeah. Nice one. You're in the upper percentile. Son, let me ask you something else. Son, very good, son. I pour out a lot of things. I don't like you're a good friend, you're a bad coach. Cash is unimpeachable. I go to the bank machine, I get a wedge of cash, it sits in my pocket for months as I spend, little bits of money going on, not spending money. And so I pull out this major fist of 20s. You're fucking right it is! It's all mine, too. All I want is don't lie to me, son! That's the vice president's job! Yeah. I want that money. Very good, son! You can have it. I can? And I said, yes, you can! And I put the money back in my pocket. And I stepped back. I said, son, you can have it! If you can take it from me. And he sits there fairly stunned. He's like, what do you mean? I want you to mug me, son! I want you to attack me and take my shit! Son, I'm the old animal at the watering hole at sundown. By 7 p.m. MLB hyena chow. Get up and take my shit. Attack me, son. Never do that. Then you won't get a damn thing from me except another lecture. Are you ready for the second set? No, it's cool. And you have a nice day. Oh, thank you too. And so the homeless boy gets on his cell phone and calls the other homeless boy 4 paces over there in front of the tattoo place and says, it's Henry Owens, I know he is shorter in person. It's him. Just put your hand at your side, man, it's not worth it. You get this lecture, he spits all over you, he yells, and then he wants you to fight him for some money. It sucks. Just let him walk by, and the rest of the block, everyone's just like this looking down, and no one hits me up. I think they heard the lecture from the street, but what was interesting is the fact that the guy with everything going against him wouldn't take my money, and the young man with everything going for him, his health, his wits, all his digits were moving. He wants money, and it's just interesting to me how young people with youth are complacent. They're apathetic. They'd rather sit on their ass and go, "Can you help me?" It's like, motherfucker, you're 19. Do not beg. Just get up and do shit. But begging, shame on you. Shame on the parents who somehow instilled that bullshit. What records are they listening to?
I am optimistic, even in the age of John Howard and George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and a pointless war in Iraq and rising terrorism and Christian and Muslim fundamentalism and extremism. I remain optimistic because I have great unshakable faith in young people and their ability to separate the truth from the lie and not be suckered into the prejudices and kind of xenophobia of their parents. Maybe somebody's father, somebody's mother, an older train of thought is not progressive. They see one thing one way. You're maybe unable to convince that person of a different way of thinking, but you can always get to his or her son or daughter and go, look, there's other options, there's books to read, there's things to examine, there's other ways of thinking, there's other ideas to think, and there's other ways of looking at the situation, and you can be part of the problem or part of the solution. So you want to be part of the solution, come on and come with us. And I really think that young people will be the end of racism and homophobia and the end of pointless religious disputes. I think it's old people's baggage that we're dragging along, at least in America with an organization like the Ku Klux Klan. I think it'd be hard to take a 16-year-old who digs rap music, who is reading about what it's like to be black in America, who's really trying to learn about other cultures and other ways. It'd be hard to sell him on white power or something like that, where maybe that guy's grandfather comes from a different age where, before like civil rights awareness and what have you. So my optimism lies in the strength and clarity of young people who want to do something better.
Today, someone thought you were hot. You were outside today. You walked by someone else. Everybody sitting in this building tonight had their ass checked out by someone else. And I don't care if you think you are like a duffel bag on two legs. I don't care if you think that you came out of the chute wrong, you don't like your hairline, you don't like the way the eyes sit in the front of your head, you think your ears are too big, you think you're too hairy here, not enough hair here. It does not matter. You walk by and someone, damn, hit that shit, man. Okay? So you are hot. No matter what you look like, you are hot. And hopefully you find that person who thinks you're hot and you think they're hot and you have a hot time together. Or maybe you don't. Or maybe the people who think you're hot, you don't think they're hot, but someone thinks you're hot. And so never think that you're not hot. All of you. Wow! Oh, you're all hot. And I too am hot. And sometimes I have to stagger back from that reality. Damn, I'm hot. And I have to wonder, what is it that, well, face it, people are drawn to me. And what is it about me that creates such intensity, such attraction? I am the flame, and all these people are moths, and they come, dozens of them. And so I have to sometimes sit back and take stock and look at it very soberly. What is it? What is it about me that's so damn hot? Is it the fact that I'm 44 years old and I look a mere 27? Is it the fact that I'm not 6'4", but I carry myself with great size? I'm sleek yet muscled. I am able to articulate myself and speak very clearly. I am well-traveled and well-read. My wit is lightning fast. I am absolutely sensational to be around. Is it one of these things, or perhaps a delightful melange of all of these things? Well, I don't know, but I know that I'm hot. A few weeks ago, I had the proof. I was in New York. I did a theater run at a wonderful place called the Zipper Theater, and I had a night off from all the nights at the Zipper, 10 and all, and I don't like a night off. It's bad for me. I'd rather be working, and so I saw that gap in the schedule months before. I went, ooh, you better fill that in, so I'll be left to my own devices. Not good. And they said, don't worry, we'll find something for you to do on that night. And they did. They found me a gig in Orlando, Florida. So I had to fly from New York down to Orlando. So after finishing the show at the wonderful Zipper Theater in Midtown, I hopped out of the Zipper and went on to 8th Avenue and stuck my arm out. A cab pulls up, and I hop in the back. And I need to go to the Hilton at LaGuardia Airport. I'm going to sleep for 5 hours, jump on a plane, and head south towards Florida. And so I'm driving along with the cab driver, and I keep looking into the rear view because there's these two burning eyes that keep looking at me. It's the driver, and he's looking at me for a long, like, whole city blocks. And you know when you're being looked at, you can feel it. I'm looking out the window. What is it? I look up and it's like, and I'm like, right.
Some fucking German techno.
What is your name? Maybe he recognizes me. It happens. And so I go into, well, I'm that guy you might not recognize or know the name of, but you've seen me somewhere, rap. Because all the time at airports, oh my God, I know you from somewhere. You were on a TV show, right? I thought you were bigger. I always have to throw that in. For some reason, I thought you were way taller and way more handsome, but you're still hot, though. But where do I know you from? And so I'm used to that. I say, what's his name? said, my name is Henry Rollins. My name is James. Oh, James. But how do you spell that? It's a cool name. It's I-J-A-Z, James. Well, it's nice to meet you, Jazz. I'm not a polite person. And so we make an acquaintance and I go back to looking out the window. Where do you come from? Actually, Jazz, I'm from Washington, D.C., which, as you know, is about a 5-hour drive south of Manhattan, New York, where we are now. But actually, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., Jazz, but I live in Los Angeles, California, Hollywood to be specific, a city I've never liked, a state that has always made me feel a little bit paranoid. And my party line is, Jazz, I tell people when they go, why the hell do you live in Hollywood? I tell them, well, my stock reply is where my cum-stained futon washed up years ago, and here I am. But so I am a transplant, and I live in this city, this intellectual vacuum where no one reads books of any substance. We really have no conversations that are not about the industry, and everyone is implanted, and their skin is perfect. Really, Jazz, fun is right along with satisfaction for me. Not exactly an enemy, but a quantity that I'm not very good with. Satisfaction and fun makes me nervous. Small quantities are okay. Fun should be a temporary occupation before you get back to the work. You use fun as a momentary rest from the arduous task of being an artist and someone who goes up against the grain of life and goes, ah! Which is kind of what I do for a living, Jazz. I kind of go, ah! In every given opportunity. And so fun and satisfaction are to be taken in small quantities. Let's see, for fun, I like to read books. And the books I like to read, Jazz, are kind of like when you're on your 20th book and you're going to do 5 and they're all by your string so you quit, but you go on. These are the kind of books I read where every paragraph makes you want to fall asleep because I seek to learn. I am an autodidact, Jazz, and my mind is a chunk of obsidian covered with Teflon, seemingly impervious to the uptake of knowledge. But I'm trying to educate myself. I want to know the things I did not know the day before. Any book that I can wound a collie with, I seek to read it. Even though I don't understand, I'm like a medicated termite, slowly